The Pregnant Workers Fairness Act goes into effect at the end of the month, but many large companies aren't ready. A new survey of large companies shows half aren't ready or they're just now only preparing. KXAN's Tom Miller talked with Austin Business Journal editor Colin about the new law and what it means.
On June 27th, the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act takes effect. What is that, and how is this going to impact companies and their employees?
Well, it's pretty much an extension of the Americans with Disabilities Act, and this is here to protect the new mamas, basically. And so, before they give birth, however. So, it all boils down to the employer, forcing the employer to provide what's called reasonable accommodations. And so, if your employee is 9 months pregnant and says, "Boss, it's hard for me to walk 100 yards from my parking spot to the front door. Can I get a front row parking spot for these next month or two?" You know, that would be a reasonable accommodation, for instance, or letting them go to more doctor's appointments than they maybe usually and taking a little bit more time off.
There was a new survey that talked to about 600 HR professionals at major companies, and it found some significant red flags here. What stood out to you?
Well, what stood out is that a lot of employers don't see this coming. June 27th is when this takes effect, and you've got to make accommodations for your pregnant workers. And so that's disheartening, but also if the employers don't know, there's a good chance that the mamas-to-be don't know as well what their rights are.
What protections are already in place for pregnant workers or workers who've recently delivered?
Well, there's already on the books the Pump Act, and so what this says is that if you've got a pregnant worker on your payroll and she's breastfeeding, well, then you've got to provide a nice enclosed space, private space for them to do the pumping. And then beyond that, provide a refrigerator too, because you can't just put that in your purse or your car.
All right. Colin breaking it down for the new mamas. We appreciate it.
You bet. My pleasure.